Have you ever had your child run away from you and then look back just to make sure you're watching? They're trying to get your attention. In our elopement series, today we're going to talk about elopement for the reason of intention. Okay, let's jump into talking about elopement as it functions as attention, for attention, okay? And this is our fourth video out of a series of 5. We have already talked about sensory, escape, today is attention, and then next will be tangible. These are all really important so that when you're addressing the behavior, you're not addressing it by the way it looks, you're addressing it by the reason it's happening, the function, the purpose. Okay, so we're gonna look at this in elopement as the function of attention. And this means that somebody actually wants your attention and they're running to get it. And so this can be unsafe. And in that kind of environment, we want to teach a replacement. So one of the very first things we want to do is look at how do we teach someone to appropriately request for the socially appropriate game of chase, right? So you can do this with a word, a picture card, or a sign or gesture, just letting someone be empowered with when they request chase, now you can respond with, yes, it's the right space to do that, or no, we need to go to a different space and direct you. But it's giving you that warning that it's going to happen instead of the kid running across the parking lot and then looking behind them just to see if you're chasing them and getting that attention. So that's really important. Also, what's interesting about this is when we start to look at the next step, which is reinforcement, remember, you chasing them is part of the reinforcement. So it's really hard to remove it because as soon as they're bolting across the parking lot and looking behind you and you're chasing them, you have now reinforced them. So what we really need to make sure we're doing, I'm not saying not to chase and run after someone in an unsafe situation, but where we're going to be able to do this is adjust that before this behavior occurs, we want to create a pattern and a habit of teaching the appropriate way of doing this with added reinforcement. Okay, so this is again where we want to identify, is there a tangible reinforcement we can add to the environment? And so you might do this through a requesting of playing chase, teaching the request the appropriate way, chasing, but then also adding something else to the environment. It might be that you add bubbles to the environment. It might be that you add a tangible, like an edible to the environment or a token, any of those kind of things, but you're adding something to the environment in addition to chase. So they're kind of getting a higher reinforcement encounter when they request it appropriately versus when they just bolt and you're having to redirect them. Okay, out of all the planning and practice, you might still find yourself in a situation where you actually have to chase them to get them because they did not request chase, and you are now having to address the behavior after it occurs. I think one of the most important things here, especially for attention, is when you are engaging with them to bring them back to a safe environment and setting, do use very few words. Do not use an enthusiastic voice and really try to avoid eye contact. Because remember, all of those things are attention seeking and are giving that person attention. So in the most effective and safe way, bring them back while trying to remove some of those properties of the reinforcement. Then you're going to have them go back to the original setting, engage in an activity that's not preferred or something that's neutral, like maybe a puzzle or a worksheet, something that is going to be neutral but not reinforcing. Then you're going to set up the environment again and then go right into practicing multiple times, requesting chase or the appropriate activity so that you're now starting again and adding that reinforcement back in. But again, most importantly, make sure you're removing as much of that reinforcement as possible when you're having to redirect them. So that's how we're going to address elopement for attention. Yeah, to me, this might be the trickiest one, I think, because you want to give your child the attention that they need, but it's just so difficult to do in this scenario. So I really do think the reinforcers are the key to all of this.
Yes, absolutely.
Check out our next few videos and keep shining bright.